What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of What's Up, Cuzzo podcast. Uh, you got one of your favorite cousins in front of you. What up, y'all? What up, y'all? How y'all feeling? Hopefully, you guys had a phenomenal week. And hopefully, you can hear me. Hopefully, there's no technical difficulties going on right now. Yeah, man. How was y'all week, man? How was y'all week? Let me see. I just want to check something and verify that we are all good. Give me 1 second. Let's see. What was that? Let's see. Y'all can hear me? Can y'all hear me out there? Can you hear me? Perfect. Awesome. So, anyway, back to our regularly scheduled show. First things first. Yeah, hopefully you guys had a phenomenal week. My week was pretty good so far. You know, busy. More recent always. There's and your boy got sick, man. I was down and out. I was down and out for a few days. I'm sure you could probably. I'm a little more nasally than normal, so but I'm better now. I'm better, and that's all I could ask for at this point in time. So anyway, we're gonna hop right into the show, so we don't hold you too long. We got some things to talk about, man. So firstly, this is already, I call it Blackwell. You know what I'm saying? Hey, for a lot of different reasons. Um, One of the reasons would be is Black History Month, right? The month that we use to celebrate Black history. And I wanted to bring to your attention one of the great mathematicians, and actually his story is tremendous because it's even affecting us today. And a lot of times, we look at things that are going on in the present, and we really don't consider how those things could affect us later down the road, or how those things could impact us later down the road, or how those things could be important to us later down the road. We sometimes don't consider those things when when we're doing things, when we're building and creating our own legacy. Because that's, whether you know it or not, that's what you are doing on a regular basis. You are creating your legacy, whether it be great. It doesn't have to be great in anybody else's eyes, but whether it be great, whether it be small, you're creating your legacy. Everything that you do, you're adding to or subtracting from your legacy. And so it's important, only if you want to have a great legacy. Again, this is personal. This is not anything that, anybody has to look at and say, oh, he didn't have a good legacy. Nobody cares. You are the only one that lives your life. So you have to be doing what you want. So if you want to have a great legacy, you have to make sure that, you're doing the things that add to you having a great legacy. And guess what? Like, we all mess up. You know what I'm saying? What did they say? Players F up too. That, hey, it happens. But again, this is the time that we celebrate what we call Black History Month. Um, you know, there's not one day that I could recall living that I wasn't black, so I celebrated every day, right? We wanted to bring to light one of the greats that a lot of people don't know and a lot of people don't hear about. And it's kind of in my field. I'm not really a mathematician. I did love math in school, um, but I'm not necessarily a mathematician. But we'll talk about it. Let's see here. So, there we go. We're gonna pull up Google. So Google, and let me enhance this. Oh shoot. Why is it? Can I get one? Can I get 150? Anyway, we'll roll with it right there. Hopefully, you guys can see that. So anyway, we wanted to highlight Dr. David Blackwell, who was a pioneer. He was an African American mathematician and statistician who revolutionized probability, game theory, and information theory. As a Black scholar, inducted into the National Academic Academia of Sciences, he made foundational contributions to AI and statistics. AI, and that's why I wanted to kind of address this, is something that we are talking about today, right? And if you look at how long ago Dr. Blackwell contributions are, AI wasn't even being talked about. Yeah, we were having movies and stuff like that saying we're gonna have robots, but if we look back at 2010, some of us may have been, still babies in 2010. You know, not me, of course, but some of us may have still been babies, or some of us may have not been born, honestly. Um, and so Dr. Davis Blackwell's contributions to his field are still being recognized to this day. And as it states, he says that his foundational contributions, he had foundational contributions to AI. So without him, and I'm not gonna fully say this, but without him, we may not know what direction or where AI would be at this point. So he had an exceptional impact on artificial intelligence, machine learning, economics, etc. And so he was honored with a few different things as well. For you guys that don't follow technology, and y'all probably don't care about different types of chips and different types of um, computing power. People always ask me about computers. Oh, what type of computer can I get? You know what I'm saying? What type of computer should I get? And I'm just like, I'm waiting for y'all to say one thing, because usually what they say is, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of money to get a computer that is powerful, even moderate. You're gonna have to spend a little bread. So I'm sorry. So I've usually wait. Somebody asks me, "Oh, what do I need to get?" You need to get this, and this, and then when they add it all up, it's like, oh damn. But anyway, I'm not going to that. So Dr. Blackwell, thank you for your contributions. But also, the reason why I bring up computing along with AI is because Dr. Blackwell was actually honored with a chip being named after him via Nvidia. And it's actually it's an older model, but it was being widely used. And let me see, Nvidia. Excuse me.
AI has.
So I'm gonna share. Wait. Oops. Oh, okay. So sorry, sharing. So cool.
The age of AI has begun. Blackwell is its engine, an engineering marvel. In Arizona, it starts as a blank silicon wafer. Hundreds of chip processing and ultraviolet lithography steps.
But I'm not gonna play all of this because I got a copyright thing last time.
Tons.
Let me see if I can
Age of AI, made for the world. NVLink is the breakthrough high-speed link that Nvidia invented to connect multiple GPUs into GB stack, separating the good
I promise y'all had this.
Hundreds of chip processing and ultraviolet lithography steps build up each of the 200 billion transistors, layer by layer on a 12-inch wafer. In Indiana, HB.
So I'll just stop it right there. Anyway, if you guys want to know like more about it, about the Blackwell chip, his early contributions to science, you know, has us probably further along than we would be, and we want to salute, you know, Dr. Blackwell. Died in 2010, but even then, so you can see how his legacy and what he did to help move us forward, you know, and it's probably something that he was really focused on personally, just being great in his own right. So, you know, shout out to Dr. Blackwell. We appreciate you. And let's see. On to the next topic. Let's see. So, well, we got the other favorite cousin in the building. What's up, cousin?
What up, man? What y'all talking about?
Just talking about Dr. Blackwell and his contributions to science or math and AI and things like that. His contributions into his own field are still having an effect on us today, even though he passed away in 2010. Let me see. What the heck? Yeah, even though he passed away in 2010, what he's doing or what he did, you know, has brought us a long ways in AI, and his name is being spoken about, you know, to this day as being one of the forefathers of artificial intelligence. So that's what we pretty much talked about.
That's what's up.
So yeah, so now we're gonna go ahead and get into the next topic about our lovely city, our lovely state rather, California. So California is implementing or talks about implementing a tax on drivers. Let's see what they talk about.
California may restructure how it taxes drivers, all based on how many miles they put on their cars.
And traditionally, drivers pay their share when they fill up for gas. But CBS LA's Rick Montanez tells us why lawmakers are looking for an alternative.
Let me
this idea is now
California.
It's not sharing. There we go.
California may restructure how it taxes drivers, all based on how many miles they put on their cars.
And traditionally, drivers pay their share when they fill up for gas. But CBS LA's Rick Montanez tells us why lawmakers are looking for an alternative.
This idea is now moving forward because state lawmakers are concerned that billions of dollars is going to be lost as more electric vehicles and zero-emission vehicles hit the road across the state. California's gas tax goes to cover things like road repairs, infrastructure improvement, and public transportation. So now the idea of charging drivers based on how much ground they cover while behind the wheel, it is not new, but it is something that is more seriously being considered. The State Assembly this week just approved a bill for that study to continue as a way to look into mileage-based fee system across the state as a way to recoup the losses that come with EV drivers no longer spending at the gas pump. EV drivers are already paying a road improvement fee when they register their cars with the DMV. Well, this study is looking for an alternative to the gas tax, which could change those registration fees as well. As it stands right now with this study, California Democrats are for it and Republicans are opposed.
Some of my colleagues from across the aisle, instead of having intellectually honest debate, chose to traffic in blatant lies and say that this bill increases increases taxes, adds a mileage tax, and it does not in any way, shape, or form. It's a study bill. And here in California, we cannot increase taxes without going to the voters.
So they say, oh, this is only a study. This is only a study. Look, first of all, they only study things that they're going to implement. And I've been here long enough in Sacramento to know that to be true. And you don't always get the full hearings on all these bills.
According to the Legislative Analyst's Office, because of zero-emission vehicles, California's gas tax revenues will continue to drop by billions of dollars a year through the end of this decade. At this point, though, the tax structure remains the same as is. No changes yet. This study, though, is looking to have the results by January. Reporting in Pasadena, Rick Montanez, CBS LA.
California.
Yes, sir. So shout out to California. Yeah, I don't get it, man. I think that it's highway robbery. That's what I think it is. You know, we have our elected officials who, you know, say we're going to tax the rich. You know, they try to make it seem like that they have our best interests at heart and that they want to only tax them and not take money from our pockets. But, you know, you continue to see little small taxes here and there, which adds up. And it may not affect, you know, those that have wealth, but those who are barely getting by. Actually, those, not just those who are barely getting by, but those barely getting by are going to be really affected. So they don't really know how it's going to be implemented. You know, I didn't really talk about that, whether it's going to be, you know, something. And those are questions that I had myself. Is it going to be something that when we register our car is going to be added to that? Is it going to be, you know, something where, you know, we have to, you know, pay when it comes to our insurance, like that's the way they check our mileage? I don't know. We don't know, you know, what that's going to look like yet, but I just think that, you know, California like is really robbing their citizens. You know, it's a tax here, a tax there, a tax here, a tax there, and those things add up. And again, back to our elected officials, I have two things to say about them. The one thing I would say is that one in particular, Gavin Newsom, he likes to talk about how, you know, we have one of the greatest economies, you know, as a state in, you know, in our country. And, you know, he really hangs his hat on that. But the problem in that is that a lot of people are moving out of here. A lot of companies are moving out of here. And it's not because of the weather. You know, I see the sun shining on Cuzzo's face right there. It's not because of that. People love the weather. People love the beach. You know, California is, you know, it gets cold to a California guy like myself, but for most people, like when they come from the Midwest and from the East Coast, like when they come here during the winter time, hey, they walk around in flip-flops and, you know what I'm saying, and shorts all year round if they wanted to. But that's not why people are leaving. They're leaving because the taxes is high up there. And you know, again, for those millionaires, if you have millionaires leaving, you know, what about for the people that can't leave when they decide to? What do you think that's doing to them? People being impacted. And so this is just one of those other things like, okay, yeah, you're going to tax the rich, you know, you're going to make them pay this billionaire tax, but like this tax is like, what if you drive for a living? How's that going to work for ride share drivers? I'm sure they may have it right off. I hope they do. But what about people who, you know, travel from, you know, the Inland Empire to LA? You know, what about the people who travel from Palmdale to LA? Like, what is that going to do? Like, you're going to penalize them, you know, for trying to make a living for themselves and their family. And you know, I hear people say all the time that, you know, voting doesn't matter. But you see who we have advocating for us. You know, you have somebody trying to say, oh, you know, this is not what, you know, what we voted for. This is it's something that we're just surveying and things like that. Yeah, right. I kind of agree with the man that spoke. He said that you guys don't survey or do things like this unless you plan on implementing them. And so the people that we have in office are the people that decide these type of things. And so we could throw all of that, you know, left side, right side, liberal, Republican, Democrat, conservative, like we could throw all that out the window. Do you agree with this tax? Let's start right there. It seems like we're being penalized for having a car. If you have an EV, penalized for actually, it's like they're penalizing us for other people's choices. If you don't have an electric car, guess what? You're gonna have to pay a tax too. You're gonna have to pay at the pump, and you have to pay a tax. Tell me how that's fair. But anyway, that's all I have. Cuzzo, you have any input on this?
I mean, he was cooking. So I mean, I was kind of listening to what you were saying, and it just, I'll speak to the last point you made. It seems like they want to penalize, you know, everyone, you know, because they bought EV cars, which California pushed. California put infrastructure in place and charging stations and, you know, all these tax write-offs they gave, you know, these Toyota Prius buyers and Tesla buyers, you know, they were giving incentives, you know, because they were trying to actually, what, a year ago or 2 years ago, say that, you know, this is no more gas powered cars in California. Like, it was been all kind of different, you know, tools and tactics that, you know, I guess we can call the Democrats have been using to, you know, kind of circumvent the people or circumvent, you know, whoever is not going along with their agenda. So this is the latest and greatest in terms of charging everybody, you know, for trying to do the right thing. So there's going to be a backlash to this. I'm thinking in terms of, you know, how people are going to receive it, because it's just kind of like, okay, so you're going to charge me at the pump, like you said, and charge me on registration, because I'm pretty sure you used to get a gas tax. Now it's going to be what, either increased or there's going to be another type of tax added. And like you said, you already have millionaires and billionaires, you know, in terms of businesses leaving. So now you're going to incorporate this, and this is going to make many more people leave, you know, because they're not going to want to deal with, you know, the outcome of whatever California is attempting to do, because you're attempting to recoup money and take money from people because you've stolen all the money, you've taken all the money, and now you're trying to get more money for whatever reason. I'm not sure. So I guess this is the name of the game, and this is just the next phase. So it's going to be interesting again, I'll say, because as of now, people have been trying to do different boycotts and no gas day and this and that. So we'll kind of see what happens with that. My next thing is, okay, well, I guess I'm going hydrogen now. Forget it. You don't want to. You don't want me to drive my Tesla. I can't drive gas powered. I'm going hydrogen. Which is just water. So I'm gonna just put my water hose and fill my car up, and you can't charge me with that.
Hey,
I don't know.
that ain't how it work, I wish it was that easy. Shit.
It could work that way, but they keep killing all the guys that be coming up with this stuff like that. They keep getting rid of them.
That's a
What's
fact.
the last dude? The last dude that came up with something like that. The young cat call his fuel plastiline or something like that.
Yeah, I think I just saw him actually
Yeah,
a couple days ago. I'm actually last night I was
yeah.
watching the video of his. Yeah.
Right, man. So he said, "Yeah, man, I could melt down plastic, and we can use this as fuel." And it's been working. So I don't know how far he are, but you need to hurry up, man, and get it together. We might have to be using plastic lean, and say, I don't even use gas. This is not a gas powered car. It's a plastic lean powered car. So
Hey,
they
hey,
might not like that.
where's Doc Brown at, man? We need Doc Brown. Doc Brown was putting trash in the DeLorean. You know what I'm saying? He was flying.
Yeah.
So
I think was putting banana peels and 40-ounce bottles in there, and
right.
we was gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. But yeah, man. So I mean, like I said, there's gonna definitely be some backlash. Of course, this is something that they're doing, to hold people's attention away from other things that's being done. But yeah, I don't see it flying very well for them.
And I think, and I was actually thinking that, about distraction, right? So
Mm.
I think that these are the type of things, and it could be other things out there, but these are the type of things that we get distracted from, and then we look up and we're like, where did this tax come from? You know what I'm saying? Where did this come from? Like, I didn't hear about that because we're so focused on protesting. We're so focused on uh, things like that are going on, wars in other countries and other things, and Diddy and R. Kelly and who's the latest and the greatest? Who are they talking about now? Oh, the Epstein files. Like, those are the things that we're focused on right now, and it's like a whole lot of stuff could be going on in between time. So I don't know, man. I think it's dumb. I think it's highway robbery. To your other point, I think it's just a way to, hold on to our money, and so they can have a surplus to do whatever the hell they want to do with it. Because they fumbled the bag. Bad leadership and bad money managing. But anyway, I'm gonna start going crazy. So let me stop. I'm finished with that. So yeah, let us know what y'all think inside of the comments about this topic. Uh, and don't say, "Oh, this is not my state," because we might have some people out there from other states, and you might be saying, "Oh, this doesn't matter to me. This is California." But guess what? A lot of times, before they push things out to other states, they test it out in the bigger states. They test it in California. They test it in New York, and
Mm-hmm.
see how it works. See how people, feel about, not necessarily feel about it because they don't give a damn about that, but they see, how it works in those states, and then they roll them out to your state. So, Mark, don't forget about it.
Right.
Don't forget I said that. So anyway,
Yeah.
on to the next topic. So the Grammys was this week, cuzzo.
Yeah. I
Did
didn't
you watch
watch
them?
it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
Nope.
didn't either. I thought maybe I was gonna ask you how were they.
I stopped watching stuff like that a long time ago.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And I hear a lot about how they're saying like the Grammys are rigged and all kind of other things, and I don't I
Yeah.
don't I don't pay any attention to it, so I
Right.
wouldn't know.
Right.
I wouldn't know. However, I
Hmm.
have been hearing about one of the artists who received his first award is receiving backlash. Let's kind of see what he had to say. Shaboozey.
Shaboozey.
I was thinking about something else.
Yeah.
Well, mine just yeah.
Mm.
Bad Marco, bad. Anyway, Shaboozey, and I kind of like fast forwarded a little bit, but let me go back a little bit. Let's see.
The greatest team in the world. Thank you so much. And again, the last thing I want to say, immigrants built this country, literally. Actually, so this is for them, for all children of immigrants. This is also for those who came to this country in search of better opportunity to be a part of a nation that promised freedom for all and equal opportunity to everyone willing to work for it. Thank you for bringing your culture, your music, your stories, and your traditions here. You give America color. I love y'all so much. Thank you.
So there we go. So he's facing backlash for his acceptance speech and his statement. Immigrants built this country, and he said literally, actually, or actually literally, which
Hmm.
in my from my years in speaking English, it kind of adds extra validity to the statement that you're making. You know,
Right. Right.
so Cuzzo, I'll let you start first. What do you think of Shaboozey and immigrants built this country?
Um. I would just like to. I would just like to. I mean, I heard what he said, actually and literally. So, actually and literally, what they built this country? Is that what you're saying? And immigrants meaning what? What are immigrants to you? What do you think? Are you talking about the people that are here getting kicked out today? They built the country. Is that who you're talking about, or are you
Well,
talking about the people?
let me just add this. I'm sorry to cut you off. So his mother is he let me play the whole thing that way you maybe get a let me see let's see so
Damn. I just walked in here literally 10 seconds ago. I got a speech, man. I've never written a speech in my life, and yesterday I said, I should write a speech. I said, Dear God, I just want to say thank you. Nothing is possible without you. Your love and will preserves me through it all. I want to also thank my mother, who as of today has retired from her job after 30 years. Working in the medical field as a registered nurse in the psych ward. She worked 3 to 4 jobs just to provide for me and my four siblings as an immigrant in this country. Thank you, Mom. Sorry, I know I don't got too much time. I'm gonna read this whole speech though. I also want to thank Jared Cotter, Abbas Patti, Tina Davis, Ghazi, Nima, Nate Stevenson, and the entire Empire team for believing in me. Thank you so much, brother. And everybody else, Sean Cook, Devin Sastry, Josh Klein, and TKG, my lawyer, Bob Celeste, and everybody that's a part of this, Harvey Mason, thank you so much. I have the greatest team in the world. Thank you so much.
or you know what maybe he didn't say it but so his mother is from Nigeria. I guess I just looked that up or
They didn't build
overheard
this
that.
country. Okay.
Well, yeah, so I'm just saying
Right.
that's
Only thing
what he
they
says.
did. Yeah.
So yeah, so go ahead. I'm sorry to again I cut you off, but go ahead and jump in. So just with that insight, his mother is from Nigeria, and so his statement, you
So
know,
what?
yeah.
What that mean? They came after the country was built. I went to people who came here from Nigeria, and I went to school with people that was from Nigeria. So that means absolutely nothing. Immigrants built this country is a vague statement. What immigrants? Who are you talking about? not Nigerians, not anybody from your mom's family. That's not it. They immigrated to this country, but they didn't build it. So what are you talking about? What is your statement meaning? You're seeing stuff happening with, people of Hispanic heritage, and you feel some type of way about it. But that doesn't mean that your people built this country or the Hispanic community hasn't built this country. So what is your statement meaning to say? Because the people who built this country has been persecuted, shot down, talked about, spit on, gone through Jim Crow and all that stuff, and still go through stuff till this day. The people that built this country are the people that your mom was told about and you was told about. When you come here, don't talk to them, stay away from them, which they call the FBAs or whatever, which I don't agree with that either.
What does that stand? What does
It's
that mean?
the foundational Black Americans.
Oh, okay,
The
okay,
people
okay,
that were,
okay.
the foundation of America,
Why we
which is
call it the
pretty much
foundation?
because the foundation is what built America,
Oh
which is
man,
us.
yes, sir. I was just
That's
asking,
who
man. I
built
thought,
America.
yeah.
It was built. It was built off the backs of us. So it's like
Literally, actually.
immigrants did not build this country. That's a false statement. Yes, you came here and there was some labor, taken from you. Yeah, you came and because you wanted a better life, but the system was already built. You probably came and was involved in some stuff, but the system was already built by the time your mom came here or your mom's people came here, if they came here. So that's an incorrect statement. So you're gonna receive some backlash because that is insensitive to the people who actually built this country. And if you were to tell the truth, then you would know who built the country. So he's receiving backlash, because it was a false statement. And they tell a lot of half truths and false statements to make a point, to sit up there and act like I am holier than thou, or I'm making a stand, for injustices, when you're not telling the whole entire story, which no one ever has and no one ever does. Because if they tell the whole entire story, then people would know the truth. If people knew the truth, then they could not spew the lies that they spew today and feel comfortable and high and mighty about it. The reason why you're able to come here as a Nigerian American, if that's what you want to call yourself, and sing country music is because of foundational Black Americans. So if you were to give that shout out, then you would have got much more kudos. You probably would have got backlash from your team, but that's the truth. Little Richard, he created rock and roll, country music. He gonna tell you that. They stole it from him. He used to tell people all the time. So if you give credence, if you give kudos to the right people, then people cannot lie about history. That's why it's important to tell history like it's supposed to be told. It's important to tell history the right way, not tell history based on how you want it to be told and remembered. And that's what's been happening for a long time. That's why we got Black history now, because it's our history, but it's told, living in someone else's system, trying to come up and be equals in someone else's system when we already had our thing going, but we wanted to be a part of someone else's system.
Right.
Yes, you have all these great inventors and all this, all this information, all these things that we done to help better their lives. And what did they do? Take it for themselves and give you the credit last, patent all your stuff so they can get paid off of it for a lifetime. So that's why he can come here and say immigrants built this country, because he don't have all the right information. He may not. We can't fault him for that. We can only fault him for what he knows. So now let's go ahead and give him the real information. So
Well,
you can go
I
ahead and
think we can fault
correct
him
your
though.
statements.
We can fault you
We
because you're
can't fault.
speaking what you don't know. If you don't know
We
it, you
can't
shouldn't be
fault.
saying it.
Well, he think he knows. That's what I'm saying. We
Oh,
can
okay,
only
okay.
you can only go off with your current interpretation or your current knowledge of the situation that's going on. So if you think you know what's going on and you want to make a statement about it, you're going to make a statement about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
I mean, simple as that. So I give people the benefit of the doubt because again, you guys are not from here. You're from another country in Africa. So you don't have all the information. You were not brought up to understand what the history is. Now, I don't know if he knows it or not, but whatever statement you just made was a total false statement. Now people are gonna come on here and say, "Well, yeah, immigrants did build this because my parents came from here, came from there, and they worked on the railroads, and the Asian worked on the railroads, and the Polacks and the Italians and the Irish, we had to do this and do that." Yeah, but the system and the foundation was already built when you got here. That's like saying, hey, I helped build this house. Well, yeah, the foundation was already poured, the framing was done. All you did was put up the drywall, paint some walls, maybe put the roof on, help put the roof on. But yeah, everything was already done before you got here.
I mean, yeah. I'll try to say what I need to say, clearly and with understanding.
Say it actually and figuratively, like he said it.
We're not actually and literally, yeah.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. So he said initially, I've never wrote a speech before, so I thought I should write a speech.
Right. Where did you get that bright idea?
And so, with that being said, in my opinion, what he said had to be thought out. That's just me. If I'm writing down a speech, I would at least sit down, take some time, get my thoughts out, and maybe read it once or twice over. Maybe he didn't do that. I don't know. But you put that thought to paper, and if you did read what you said even one time, in your mind, that made sense. I don't see how, brother. And I'll say this other thing. I got two things. Hopefully I don't forget one. Two things. One, I know how it feels to be the foundation of something created, and you don't necessarily get credit for, you don't even get spoken about. That's happened to me. In the field I'm in now, it's happened to me. There was a project, and I won't say what the project is, but there was a project, and I played a key role in that project. However, the people above me took credit. They were on a magazine and they talked about what part they played in it. And I didn't have my name wasn't on there at all. My team wasn't, none of that. So I know how that feels. The reason why I bring that up is because that's how the people that actually built this country felt from your statement. The people that we may look like each other, color-wise, But y'all never wanted to be who we are. Y'all never wanted to attach yourself to who we are. Y'all never wanted to say, I'm black. Y'all never wanted to associate yourself with us. And you get up there, you know, shout out to you, brother. You know, I haven't heard your music, honestly, so I don't know what the music is like, but obviously it has to be you know, decent, you know, or better, of course, because you're getting an award from it or for it. But for you to get up there and say that, it hit a lot of nerves. Like Cuzzo said it clear, like, hey, it's a lie. Like, y'all did not create none of this. Like, the house was built, damn the drywall. The only thing that had to be put on was the doors. The windows was in, the foundation was built, the floors were done, the inside was all beautiful. And maybe that's the problem. Well, I don't want. Oh, that seemed racist. Maybe I was gonna say maybe we should have put on the doors and locked them early. You know what I'm saying? I'll say that's just my opinion, but you know, my commentary. I guess that's my opinion too. Anyway, for you to say that, the people that actually have family members who, my cousin said, died, who were hung, who was whooped, who was forced, who was taken advantage of, who was all these things that were done to. And guess what? We didn't volunteer a lot. Our families, well, there was some, so you had the indigenous people, but then you had some that were brought over here through the Atlantic slave trade. They weren't brought here willingly and freely, and who were forced to do some of the stuff. Some of the people that were here already were forced to do this stuff. It wasn't willingly sometimes, a lot of the time, most of the time. And I know a lot of y'all at the Grammys took an opportunity to give your opinion on things that y'all are probably so far out of touch of because of where you are. You don't live a regular life. You don't have to deal with some of the regular things that we deal with. But anyway, let me not go too far off. That was a slap in the face. And hopefully somebody, you know, that is close to him that could have a conversation with him and explain why he did what he did. And hopefully he's receiving. Yeah, that was bad, Shaboozey. That was bad, bro. But guess what? I ain't gonna fault you. We all make mistakes. But guess what? We're gonna have to talk about the mistakes. So they gonna get talked about. Guess what? Hey, if you trip and fall outside, guess what? It's not gonna stop people from laughing or talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you learn from it, and you actually not just learn, but you fully understand why people are upset about this, and you can acknowledge that. And this is one last thing I want to say, and this is a rant too. This last thing, I'm not gonna put on the button. I'm not gonna turn on the button. But it amazes me how people from other countries come to this country because of what this country is, but they try to change this country to be the country that they left, that they didn't want to be with, because they wanted to come to a country like our country. Literally, actually, it amazes me. And I lie. I'm gonna say this last thing. You guys don't want to associate yourself with people that look exactly like you, literally and actually. But you know what? You know who associates you and us because we look alike? Other people associate you, even though you speak. I don't know what language it is y'all speak.
Mm.
They still associate us with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, actually.
Right.
And so for you to discredit the people that actually built this country, it was bad in my opinion. Literally and actually. But that's all I have to say about that. Shout out to Shaboozey. Congratulations on your Grammy. Some people call it a scammy. I don't know. Hopefully I don't get, hopefully I don't have no problem. That's what I heard people say. I didn't come up with that.
I mean, he's in the music industry, so, just like any other entertainment industry, things can be done for whatever purposes they choose. So, I can't really say it's a solid congratulations because we don't know if he really deserved it. I think I heard one of his country music songs and it's catchy, but is it worth a Grammy? To them it is. So, and like he said, he just literally actually walked in 10 minutes ago. So he didn't even think he was gonna win. So that's wild work right there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I might have to listen to his music, man, and see what it sounds like.
Garbage.
Is it garbage?
No, I don't know. I think I heard one of his songs, and it's catchy, but I'm not a country music fan, so I don't care if you black, white, whoever. I'm not really a country music fan because it all comes from us anyway. So,
right.
And then Beyonce tried to go country music.
She won an award for that too.
Did she?
Hell yeah.
They was trying to talk about her like a dog because they didn't want her over there. Like, this is our music. Can't come over here. Seats taken. Can't sit here.
Huh. Let me see. Let me see something real quick. Hopefully I don't get I got a copyright thing that came up last time, so I got to make sure that. Hopefully I don't get one for this. Let me see. Share this. Yeah, for when I played Corrupt, they gave me a copyright. I had to delete it off the stream, man. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, they gave you a strike?
Nah, not a strike, but it was a
dang.
Yeah, it wasn't a strike. It was just a copyright thing. I had to take it out. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, that is the same one. Okay.
My baby born a Birkin. She's been telling me all night long. Gasoline and groceries. The list goes on and on. It's 9 to 5, ain't working. Why the hell do I work so hard?
Oh, okay. Got it. On to the next one. Anyway. Oh, man, he in the dark, man. Darkness, everybody, darkness. The darkness is spreading.
Made it to the house early.
Oh, okay, man. You should have let me know, man. I could have took you off the video, man. I don't want everybody all in your business, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. We got one last topic, man. I switched one out real quick. So let's see. I don't know if you saw Bud Crawford on the Pivot. He's on the Pivot podcast.
Yeah,
and they had a conversation. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, cool. So this is the part I'm gonna play. Let me see. Share. There we go.
Let's talk about the next generation, because that's how the sport gonna grow. Right. Is us paying homage to the ones before us and us, passing the torch to the ones after us. So I'm cool with passing the torch.
And bro, you say you did all that work your whole life, undefeated, but you grind to feed your kids and to make better for your family. I always say everything got a price. Because people say, like, I love my dog. I get $100. No, I get $1,000. No, I get $100,000. Hey, you can have him. Like, my thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know your character. Sometimes, you know, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity.
I'll stop it right there. What do you think about Channing Crowder's question, his example, and then his response, and then Bud Crawford's rebut? And I guess I'll just start then. I'll just say that I watched the many episodes of the show, and you know, I like the show. I like the way that they interact. One thing is this dude Ryan Clark, man, I don't know, man. He just said it has some bad takes. That's my only problem with it. Ryan Clark has some bad takes, but as far as Channing Crowder, like watching the show, I know him to be like the one to push the limits, you know, on questions that he asks. He be asking about, you know, sex and all type of stuff like that. You know, like oh, you be doing that, bro? Oh, me and my wife, we go to a new resort and all. Like he just talk about all kind of, you know, stuff like that. So, so this question, I mean, him asking questions that are way out there isn't like outside of the norm. You know what I'm saying, of him. And as we know, like Bud Crawford, he retired. You know, he says he's not going to go back into the ring. We never know, but we've seen people, you know, change their mind and, you know, totally different. Mike said he wasn't going to come back and play no more, you know, but he did, you know, that Wizard run. You know, we've had other athletes who, you know, stepped away and came back. But his question, is there any amount of money? And then Channing's rebut kind of like was shocked. Not, I don't want to say it was shocking, but it was like, okay, like, damn, like, are you serious? Are you just trying to ask a question to get out? Are you just asking a question to get a certain response? And so, you know, he said, you know, I will sell my soul, or you could have my soul, you know, for 100 million. You know, that was wild, bro. That was a wild, you know, take. And I'll just say this before I go into it. You know, I've heard in the past, and I heard a lot of people talk about, you know, selling their soul to the devil and things. People selling their soul to the devil and things like that. I don't believe that's really true. I don't believe you could sell your soul to the devil. Because I believe your soul doesn't belong to you. I mean, even though it's your soul, you know, your soul belongs to God, where you put it or not. But the lifestyle that you live determines where you go. So I think the devil, you know, uses that as a mechanism to think you could give something away to him that doesn't belong to you. And so that's how he has control over you. That's just my opinion. This is my belief, you know. And so we've seen people in the industry do a lot of different things to get fame. And in this instance, I don't even think it doesn't have to be an act like a mythical figure like the devil or something like that. You could sell your soul in a lot, you know, you could sell your soul in a lot of different ways. You could do things that are not moral. You know, you can, you know, put yourself in situations that you know, that would normally be outside of your character. You know, there's a lot of different things. And I think that you know, coming from a person that don't have $1, $5, $10, $100 million, you know, for people like that, sometimes people have crazy thoughts in their head, you know, like that, of selling their soul. But I see, like, he came from, you know, if you saw the whole interview, he came from, you know, humble beginnings. And what he did was, instead of putting the money in front of him, you know, I'll just say, I don't want to go too biblical in here because, you know, whatever, everybody's belief is their belief. But the book says that people, a lot of people think it says that money is the root of all evil. No, it says the love of money. What's the love? Like, you know how you feel when you love somebody, like you can't be without them. You want to be with them all the time. You want to caress and all that stuff. Like, money, the love of money is the root of all evil, not just the money, right? You know, God knows we need money to survive. We need money to do things in life. We need money to eat, clothe, be a blessing to other people. So it's known that we need funds. So he says in the interview that he put his drive to be great in the forefront and not the drive to make money in the forefront. And guess what? Some could say he's one of the greatest of all time. You know, whatever you say is whatever you say. But then you have on the other side, you know, one person saying, like, okay, guess what? Hey, and like I said, I don't know if he was speaking facts, like if that was something he really believed, like he really felt, you know, but it did seem like it was, yeah, like, hey man, like, Shannon, like, what's going on, bro? But I want to say that to those who don't have money, put your success in to striving to be great, and the money is gonna come. That's in my humble opinion. That's what I'm, you know, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it, and I'm making waves. And that's the other part. Like, don't stop working on it. Like, what I found, you know, I get to talk to you guys about stuff that I didn't know before, that I know now, because I experienced some things. And guess what? I didn't know it now for whatever reason. My parents didn't have the insight to share with me. My parents didn't get around the right people, and I'm not gonna blame them for it, you know. But I get to figure out things for myself, and what I didn't know then, but I know now. Now I can share it with my kids. I could share it, you know, with other generations, so they could be better off and they could be further along. And so, like that was a dope comeback, man. Like, you don't know people's character when they do anything for money, man. Hey, and I said I wasn't gonna go biblical, but you had Judas. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the people that was outside of the circle. It wasn't the people outside of Jesus's circle who betrayed him. It was one inside the circle who traded him for betrayed him for silver. He sold his soul. We see it every day. People out there selling their soul on these street corners. Some of them look good though doing it. When I drive, sometimes when I go down Figueroa, they be look. Some of them look good out there. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I ain't stopping nothing. I ain't saying come over here and get in the car. I ain't never said that. But for money.
Mm-hmm.
We hear about those cats that sell that, you know, that green, that white, that the other stuff, selling their soul for money, because those type of people don't live long. But yeah, that kind of shocked me. Even though I heard Channing, I think I called him Channing. I heard Channing say some crazy stuff in the past. That kind of like do be like, hey man, like, man. And Bud kind of like alluded, he's like, hey, that's type, you got to watch out for these type of people, because now you know where they stand at, and you know, like, hey, if the right amount of money come up, it's not no limit to what they may do. But anyway, Cuzzo, I'll let you share, and then we go from there. Well, that was Ron looked like that.
Yeah, man, you went in right there. So I don't have much to say. I'll
Literally,
just add on.
figuratively.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add on to what you said. I mean, basically, it's like you got to watch the people that are around you or the people that surround you. You know, a lot of times you be thinking people are with you and they with you just to take from you or to see what they can get from you. You know, it might take $100,000 for them to take you out. You know, it might take $2,000. You know, so you know the people with the high moral characters, those are the ones that you run around you. Yeah, the people who don't have that could be, you know, or have an entertainment value. He might have just said that for shock value. We don't know, but
Right.
you know, you definitely just kind of watch how people move and how they speak. You know, because you never know what they can and will do. You know, for the right number. So I'll say that for sure. But shout out to Bud, man, for standing on his square and showing, you know, people it's about, you know, being great first and then the money funnels greatness. It's never the other way around. So no doubt.
Absolutely. Man, y'all hit a like, please, for the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that was another great episode in the books. Episode number 3, season 2. Let me see. Cuzzo, you have any closing remarks?
No, man, just appreciate you holding it down. You know, my bad, you know, everyone for my tardiness. And you know, appreciate you holding it down as always. And enjoy your weekends. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hop in the comments, you know, comment, and we'll see y'all next week.
For sure. We appreciate you. I definitely, you know, this is one of those things, again, you know, and I, you know, I get to talk to Cuzzo more about like the content and stuff like that, like what he wants to see, because I don't want this to be just my thing. I want it to be ours, and so we get to collaborate and make it ours. But also, my goal, and I was just thinking about this morning, you know, there was a message that was given to me a while ago, you know, that great things start off small, but you have to be willing to input and do the work, kind of like what we talked about with Bud, right? And so I mean, I see this thing, you know, like we have, you know, a few followers, you know, we're not necessarily, you know, in the public eye per se. You know, we're on social media, but you know, we're not a Shannon Sharp who already knew famous people. We're not a, you know, Club 520 that know people, famous people already. We're not, you know, even a Gavin Newsom who holds a political office. You know what I'm saying? So it may take longer for us to get to where I want to be, but I foresee us being, you know, people that people know about, you know, when they talk about this game, and we're just starting off. You know, I know we've gotten a lot better from episode 1, you know, season 1 to right now. And I know as we continue to do this, we're going to continue to get better. And I'm looking forward to that. So, but I see it already. So anyway, with that being said, this is episode number 3, season 2. Man, y'all have a phenomenal weekend. On purpose and in purpose. Your 2 favorite cousins. We out. Peace.
All right, I'm gonna jump off.
Yes, sir.
All right.